Hello everybody. I hope you'll forgive me doing a short video like this, looking rather bedraggled and harried. This is the week when the grandchildren are here. It's two of my grandchildren, a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. And they are delightful and adorable. But children are always a lot of work, and I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that kind of work anyway. So I am pretty tired. Last night especially was rough. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. But the weather is gorgeous. We spent a lot of time outside. They like to be pushed in the wheelbarrow. They like to blow bubbles. They've been blowing bubbles like this. I got so many cheap, oh, sorry about the hand. I got so many cheap little things. So I got a pinwheel. You do not believe how much fun a pinwheel is to a 3-year-old, especially on a breezy day. Look at that, it's really going. And I picked up one of those fancy, expensive electric cars that children can drive around in. It's from the Cars movie. It's the Mater, I think is his name. I haven't seen the movie, but I got it at the hospital store because it was broken, so it was $5. Well, that car has been a source of delight to my grandson because he loves to ride it down our ramp off the deck. Only once did he fail to look and steer correctly and run into a post. That was a shock. The noise in the background is farm machinery. I tell you, it is time for things to be harvested, I suppose, and you'll see that in this video too. I chanced upon just the right moment when the fella next door, he looks like he's about 17, was pulling out a piece of farm machinery to harvest the beans across the road. And that thing is as wide as our highway. Thankfully, he was just going across the street. He just cut straight across. Whew. Anyway, but it's beautiful. Pecans are being picked up. The leaves are turning in North Carolina fashion on the coast, which means they're turning brown. We don't have beautiful color, although the Virginia creeper here turns beautiful red, and that's pretty impressive. Haven't gotten a lot of crafting things done, as you can imagine. I did a little bit of knitting in my spare moments, but most of my spare moments have been spent napping when the children nap, which is what they're doing right now. They're taking a nap. You always wonder, should I let them sleep in the nap? Should I? And then probably impair their nighttime sleeping? Or should I try to get them up, but you don't want to wake them up because that makes them grumpy? So what should you do? Boy, I live far away from my grandchildren, so I don't have to address these issues too often. But it's been a fun week, and they have been very delightful. All right, well, I'm sure I'll say a little bit more, but I thought I would just catch up with you for a second. So here's some footage from the week. Here they are in the wheelbarrow. Now, my daughter is very careful about the privacy of her children on social media, especially YouTube, so you won't be seeing their faces. But you can see some of the fun things we did, like watching the big tractors next door at the farm. And especially the little one enjoyed playing with Tricky. They were big friends, lots of licks and kisses. I also set up little train tracks in the living room. This is a little pad I made for my coffee table. It's waterproof. That was very useful. And I conquered some little girl hair for the week. That was always an adventure every morning to get the hair under control. This little one also is on a feeding tube because she has a stomach disorder that makes it difficult for her to eat. So that was a bit of work, but she's just so precious, and we're so thankful for the feeding tube that has made her thrive. So that's really a wonderful thing. There were also lots of minutes outside doing this. And my grandson just loves to plop himself down in the grass just like that, and that he would run with Tricky. We also looked at interesting mushrooms in the grass. Sadly, Leo spent a lot of time hiding from the children. He was not sure what to think of them. But Tricky, as I said, was a great friend. We spent some time looking at chickens. They found those very interesting. And now we're going to look at the farm equipment, harvesting the beans across the road. This only happens once or twice a year. People sometimes think that living in a rural area is so quiet. Maybe it can be for some people, but if you live in a farming community like we do, this is a very small field. This is just a little patch of beans. There are just acres and acres and hundreds of acres of farmland here that get harvested, and there's lots of equipment on the roads and big trucks full of potatoes and beans and everything else. Lots of corn, even a little cotton grown this year. So, but it's just beautiful to see those fields. They are so lovely, even though I wish we didn't have quite such a monoculture farming community, but it's what it is. You see the hopper there on the top. We'll put all that stuff into. Hello, pecan fans. I apologize for the fractured nature of this video. There's so many different things going on, but I just had to share this with you. I walked out to do a little video of the fog this morning, and I saw 2 pecans on the ground. They looked pretty similar. This one actually had a little bit of the husk on it, but it has weight to it. It just has a little bit of heaviness to it. This one I picked up, it looked fine, but it felt very light, just lighter than air. It's like, I bet there's nothing in the inside of that, but let's go in and see. Now, I'm not going to crack this one open because I think it's a good pecan. But when I crack this one open with my little meat tenderizer over there, I mean, there is nothing. There's nothing in there except for him. Look at him crawling around. He's looking for a pecan tree to climb up. That's a pecan weevil. I'm going to kill him in a second and put him in the trash. He's on the inside. He starts on the inside of the pecan. And if you pick up a pecan and it has a little hole, a little perfectly round hole in it, it's because this little guy has crawled his way out of the pecan after he's done this kind of damage. Now listen, dude, I don't want to pick him up. Ugh, kind of creepy. And he makes his way back to the pecan tree. What is that in there? There's something else in there. I don't know what that is. Should get my glasses on. The phone is sharper than my glasses. That might be something else. Oh, it is. Something's moving. That's disgusting. Okay, so sorry about the Halloweenish kind of video I'm posting on the end of October. Anyway, the pecan weevil is what kills off your pecans. It comes out. They crawl back and forth from a pecan like this, back to the tree, go up the tree, go into the blossom, go into the fruit, the nut, and start the cycle all over again. And I'm not sure how long the cycle takes. But just because there's not a hole on the outside of your pecan doesn't mean you don't have a disgusting pecan weevil situation. Here comes another one. Yep. I got to throw that away before he does anything. He looks even bigger. All that to say, check your pecans. Make sure they feel right. Make sure they feel heavy, like they have meat inside, and not light, like they have little critters. All right, that's my pecan advice for today. Bye, little dude. Hey, everybody. Some of y'all seemed rather interested in, what was the one the bears, the little bear cubs that I did recently. And this is my next one. These are foxes. Can you see the foxes? I just sketched them in with a little bit of brown watercolor pencil. And here's the nose of one fox, and there's his head. He's lying this way. And then here's the face, the nose of the other fox, and he is lying over top of his neck, and they're sleeping. And again, I did use a photo off of Google Images. I just hunted for 2 sleeping baby foxes or something, and because I kind of do like to have 2. I think it's just so cute. Anyway, it just helps me to get the shape. Like this fox, at first I had his nose way up there, and it just wasn't looking like a fox, and I realized I hadn't made his face long enough. This one is more at an angle over here, but it really does help you just to get the dimensions. Anyway, so I like to start with the border on the outside, and this one is ending up pretty good. I was rather scared at first. I started at the bottom. I did these branches down here first, the thicker branches, and oh, they were so ugly. And so then I tried to squeeze some leaves in there, and it was a squeeze. So I quickly realized that on the rest of it going around, I would do the leaves first and draw the branches in underneath them and around them. And that seemed to, boy, that does look good over there. That seemed to work better. Then, okay, so I did all the leaves, and I came back and did the rest of these branches. Then I added some thinner branches, the skinny ones that go off of the thick ones, and just made them go in all directions because this is ivy, in case you can't tell. Hope you can tell. But I tell you, those leaves were not looking like ivy at first. I was pretty nervous about this border. Then I went back with a somewhat pale, kind of this background color. I put that in. That was very fun. It's very relaxing to do slow work like that for me. I'm enjoying these bigger pictures instead of painting cards that take 5 minutes. I like to spend some time on something. Anyway, this is a blend between orange and a deep red, and pretty watered down because I didn't want it to stand out too much. So I went around and I filled it in. I made it darker on this corner and lighter up here. I think some variation is good there. Then I was also looking at a picture of ivy leaves, watercolor ivy leaves on the internet, and the veining on the leaves is really important. When you put some of the veining on, like on those, all of a sudden it looks like an ivy leaf instead of not looking like an ivy leaf. Like some of these don't look like much. And then you put the veining on and suddenly they look a lot better. So I decided, when looking at those pictures, I decided to use a white, what is this thing? A Jelly Roll tin white. I think I had to order this online. They were somewhat hard to find. I have used this one so much. It still has some in there, but I probably need to get another one before I run out. I use it all the time for snow and for accents and just so much stuff. I should make a list of all the things I use that white. What is this? I guess it's a paint pen. Sakura. Anyway. It was recommended to me. So the white veining, I think, really works better than if I had used either a black or a brown. I think that would have been too much. I was thinking that I was going to have to outline these leaves in black. But now that I'm putting veining on them, I think they stand out enough. I could go back and just outline. I also have a brown micron. See, these are my microns. These are wonderful. I have quite a collection of these now. I have some in brown and some in black. This is the slimmest one I have. Actually, that might be a good. This is a brown. That is a brown. That might not stand out too much. I could use a very thin one, and I could just highlight, some of the bigger ones that I want to jump forward. Makes me nervous to even try one, but I may do that. So, then I'll probably go back in and just do a light, beigey, orangey wash over, very pale over the foxes. And then I'll think of a different background for them right behind them. I'm liking this the more I look at it. And then I'll do some more detail on them, and then I'll finish up that background, and then we'll be done. So I'll keep you posted of how this one's going.